We've washed it down, and now we're going to look at doing it a different way to remove more weight. So again, the great thing about this is that it's extremely simple. Find the client's natural parting, whether it's on the side or in the middle, wherever they're going to wear the hair. We're going to section down from the just in front of the highest point of the head, just in front there. Okay, we're going to comb back, bring this hair back. That's going to give us a guide from our kitty layering, or whatever you want to call the layering around the front. Okay, someone did ask in one of the comment sections, why the change of name? Well, because it's difficult to sell something that isn't new. It took me a long time to get my head around that statement. Okay, but when fashion writers and fashion bloggers talk about trends, etc., they need something new to talk about. They can't just say the butterfly cut is still in fashion, because ultimately that's not an article where anyone would want to read. People want to know what's new, consumerist mentality and all that jazz. The actual fundamental techniques behind these are many decades old, but they've got to renew the names, because otherwise bloggers don't have anything to write about. But then the clients come in saying, I want a kitty cut. You might not know what that is. So it's good to kind of be abreast of these names before they happen or as they happen, so that you don't get caught out behind the chest. So we're going to take a vertical section straight down the centre back, and then just get that out of the way. Straight down the centre. It can be fairly wide. It doesn't have to be too small. I know a lot of people subscribe to tiny little sections in the layering patterns, but I can assure you, having cut hair in every which way humanly possible, it makes very little to no difference to the overall end result. When it really matters to take small sections is in very precise situations. So this is going to be about taking the most hair away. So this is our original guide from our front section, our shortest point. Okay, and from here we're going to cut a square layer, just like that. Okay, that's going to go straight across into the back. Okay, I'm going to comb that down. We're then going to split the hair into two, just like so. And again, we're going to just take a section that runs from the highest point we've got on the head to just behind the back of the ear. Now, when I've cut this side, I'll talk to you a little bit about how much hair and where the hair is coming from, like I did in the previous video when we used the scooping technique with the shank of the scissor. We're going to just club cut. We can texturize and refine when the hair is dry, but we can just club cut when the hair is wet like this, because we can do texturizing and refining when the hair is dry. And I always think that if you use the right layering technique, then you don't have to do so much texturizing and refining in your final result, because you've controlled the weight with the layers. So that makes life a lot quicker and easier when it comes to styling and refining the hair afterwards. So this, by taking away a lot more of the hair, we haven't shortened the actual layers. The layers in the hair are the same. They haven't changed from the very first scooping technique. Okay, but what they have done, now we've taken more weight away from in this section. So when we hold the hair up in that way that I did previously, I'll show you where the hair is now sitting comparative to the perimeter. When we, in the first video, we lifted the section up and we had a high point. Now we don't have that high point. So let's take a piece of hair from the middle of this section, which is just above the occipital bone. This is the occipital bone. It's now sitting 3 or 4 inches from the perimeter of the hair. So we've lost some of that weight in this bottom section. That's going to make the hair lighter, potentially more curly or more textured, dependent on the hair texture natural, but it's going to make the perimeter thinner. So obviously if a client's got finer hair, this may not be suitable. This is pretty much suitable though for most people in terms of, hair density. It's only not suitable if the hair's extremely fine, damaged, and it doesn't really work very well for extensions either. For those of you who do that sort of work, because it can get kind of eat into the the perimeter of the extensions. I always use scooping and slicing techniques when I'm doing these type of techniques. This is our final section. We're going to just pick it straight up. We have a really clear guideline from the front and from the middle, and then we're just going to take off that hair there, and then that's going to remove more weight, more length from the middle of the hair here. It's going to give us a slimmer profile in the bottom and the perimeter, and it will connect nicely into the front like the previous one did. What we're going to do, dry it off, show you the result, and then the third video, linked in the description, about how we're going to take the most amount of weight from the hair. Okay, this is great for curly hair textures, all that kind of thing. I'll talk about that in the next video. But if you want to see that, it's linked in the description down below. Okay, so this is look 2, all blow dried. So this is the square layer. And what that does is, if you look at the profile, you'll see that it's kind of taken a little bit more of the weight away from this internal shape. So we get the hair coming in slightly more. This is now thinner through the bottom. And it's a lovely look for most hair types. It does work well on curly, it does work well on wavy, it does work well on straight, but you're adding more weight reduction from the perimeter, so the hair's getting very fine. This is also probably not the ideal haircut for that hair texture, or if the hair's very long. This is also going to start eating into how much hair density is in the perimeter, and you might want to do a little bit more refining work, some maybe channel cutting into the top layer, so it kind of blends in and it maybe doesn't stick out too much at the point where the layers kind of sit at the shortest on the head here. The shape that we got around the sides from the kind of kitty cut is unchanged, so you can see on this side, you know, you can see the layers that come through. There's the shortest layer from around the mouth section, and then, you know, I've done it back away from the face so it kind of sits like that, and you know, that's what you'll get if you style it with a soft wave. So if you want to see the more aggressive, more weight reducing haircut, then go down to the description and you'll see the third option